This is the last poem. It's in a couple of sections called Sign Language. I was in school for sign language interpreting for a while. I was terrible at it, so I didn't continue on with it. But this poem to me is many of the many parishes, I guess. 1, Oakland. Early in marriage, we took each other places, driving across the continent to show where we'd been exotic or beloved. Landmarks we needed each other to taste. For example, in your story, a conscientious objector makes pies for drugged-up firefighters. And there in Central California was the old prison camp they often came out of. And then the story of the tattoo on the guy you couldn't see was so into you he'd eat anything you cooked for him. As it turned out, you were a good cook. 2, Lexington Market. This is the Nehru Market in Baltimore. Cece's my sister. Cece carried the bag of scrapple home on the bus. I was about to murder her downtown. You saw it coming. She was so gracious in the heat, in her shorts. I didn't know then how badly a woman needs to get home to an infant, how a baby can protect her from the rages of compromised intimacy. It didn't occur to us to drive her back. The 45 minutes on the bus spoiled the meat, one taste I never forced on you. Out of all the tastes of those row houses, the many varieties of brick. 3, Milwaukee. At one time I got everything from priests, including the little orange tent inside which I copped your virginity at last. In my view, that was our wedding night at the Dry Baptist camp in Wisconsin. I was in love, so I thought, with a priest. You were to save me. I had settled on this. In the tent, I recall the slow giving in with pride, proud to have bagged you, to let in after turning so many sincere fellows away, this absorbing you, and was not settled myself, not bagged. After, I forced you again to say yes to a marriage you didn't want, to agree this and no other. The $30 ring you bought would come between us even after it was stolen from our first house. The only remnant of its going a smear of blood next to the curtains your mother sewed for us, the eyelet dropping off the rods. The unconsummated night when at last we married, I was drunk, sick on cigarettes and dancing, the next morning still nothing between us. But in the hotel pool you swirled me like a child, all promise gone up in nerves. It was enough, though, then, to believe we had done it, had vowed ourselves into the tents of love. I'm just going to skip a couple of passages here. Puget Sound. The deaf-blind fill up the Seattle ferry. We notice the dogs and poles, not the hands yet, not the faces blowing out their cheeks, the eyebrows concocting ironies and facts, the gacking nasal O's, the palates hollowing out consonants that in a few years I will be able to mimic as if I were deaf. The enthusiasm for the possible takes me when I finally see the floating cocktail lounge, how they laugh, talk, poke arms over gasps. Less hip, more bovine, our speech, the safeties we traveled to discover words at least I could live with, dumb as the drunk who shouts, "Bill Moon," over the copy of Blue Highways I carry along for comfort. Hands everywhere, sharp, soft, no way this, TTY that, grunts that behind me or right next to my ear sound like love made of foreign language. Nothing like yours, not anything like mine. Let's go, I mouth to them. Allez, au revoir. Wedding day, Omaha. Source of my salvation, we used to say. Marriage, a journey for life, we said. The photographs appear certain, the corsages all fit the lapels. I offer a drunk altar wine, he drinks deep. At the vows, I feel you have less to say. As we step down, your hand seems to want not to hold mine, but I am not nervous because I have cut my hair and still have my strength. It was only resistance, after all. The guests amble around the fountain. It is nearly warm. A symbol makes what it means. We said a symbol is all we need.